Welcome everybody here to your coverage of the T2CL. I'm TobiWan.
And I'm the Capitalist.
And we are here to bring you your coverage for our second semi-final. Obviously, there was a lot of hype around the last final, Cap. It was Na'Vi versus Alliance. I don't think anyone really missed that game through all the troubles that we had. We had everyone tuning in, over 60,000 people watching that matchup. For now, though, we're doing another matchup, which is probably just as interesting, which is Cloud9 going up against Team Empire.
Oh yeah, I mean Alliance versus Na'Vi is kind of like the classic matchup, but honestly this one is just as good. Cloud9 have been looking really good in the last 6 months. They faltered in the last couple weeks, I think, especially in their showing in the MLG TKO has been a little bit disappointing for some, but other than that they've been a really consistent team over the last 6 months, and definitely one of the top European teams. And Team Empire, man, they are in my mind top of the lead right now. If you want to talk about like power rankings or anything like that, these guys are number one. They have been leading the meta when it comes to picks. They're always really versatile in their drafts, and they've been crushing pretty much everybody they come across. So honestly, I'm a little concerned here. I normally wouldn't say this, but I'm concerned about Cloud9's performance tonight. I'm not sure if they could take on Team Empire.
I don't think they can, man. Not with their recent results, and I'm kind of with you saying the Team Empire should be able to roll through the kind of games, like, and almost to a point where I don't want to say it because it's going to be a really depressing night of Dota if it happens, but 3-0 looks to be the way we go with the matches this evening. If you go off what's been happening before, like Cloud9, they pulled, what was it, one victory out of the MLG TKO. They've never really looked stable. And Team Empire, like, you just give them some heroes they like, and they roll over you, and the other guys just fill in the slots. And when you give them a hero like Batrider as well, time and time again, we've seen Team Empire, they win on initiation, and then they follow through into victory. Time and time again. Teams know what's going to come too. Like, all it's going to come down to is not getting yourself caught out of position, having your strat work better than theirs, forcing the Batrider to be fearful to jump in. In this case, it's going to be Cloud9's best bet.
Yeah, and talking about like not giving Team Empire just a couple of heroes that they want, their picks are so versatile that, you know, I love being able to, before we look at the matches, I like to take a look at both teams and what their recent pickups are. And it was funny going back and looking through Team Empire and the way they drafted. It was just every single time it was something new and different. For example, your MLG TKO match that you had, Empire versus Fnatic, that one, every single player over the 3 games played something entirely different on Empire. Every single player played something different all 3 games. It was just, it goes to show how versatile Team Empire is as a team. And Cloud9, though, they do have some interesting strategies that they run. They have the, 3 or 4, I would say, solid strats that they pick up all the time. And they do sort of change those as the meta changes. So I think, Pilot Eye, Eternal Envy, I think those guys are really good readers of where the meta is going and how to be able to counter up what Team Empire are probably going to be running here. So I would give them a little bit better chance. I would say this series probably will go to 5 games, but I still give Team Empire a lead.
Okay, well, we lock in our bets at least. I still think it's probably going to be 3-0 to Team Empire, just judging on their recent results. Maybe a 3-1 if Cloud9 can show us some magic, and that's really all I'm really searching for. I'm not looking for like amazing arrows, which is all that's going to be like carrying them through the game. I want to see Cloud9 working as a full 5-man squad, just moving themselves ahead and just moving together as a team. That's the only thing I really want to see from Cloud9. The drama so far leans towards that potential, because you got Lycan as well as Dazzle together, so there's a lot of burst heal damage coming out when you got the Wolves in combination, and then Lycan. We know how much of a boss he can be during the fights. When you get a Dazzle holding your hand the entire time, you're going to be looking good. The downside for Lycan is now Team Empire go with a wonderful control hero. Obviously, Gale and things like those kind of slows aren't going to be as effective as you want it to be up against a hero like Lycan, so you grab the telekinesis. You get the potential to actually steal either shapeshift or one of Dazzle's great abilities too. So yeah, right
Wolves.
now I think both teams have like perfect combinations.
Yeah, Wolves is another really good ability for Rubik to steal. Early on, they're great damage dealers, but going later into the game as well, they also function as these sort of moving wards since they're invisible. Really good abilities for Rubik to steal here. But I really do love Dazzle. Just kind of fits the meta right now. There's so many different minus armor strats that are being run that Dazzle is so strong with, but he's not just sort of that like clutch support hero when it comes to, oh, you grab a Slardar, look out, minus armor, let's pick up a Dazzle and see how weave works. He's also really good in both push and turtle strats, because of the fact the way weave works, especially with the buff that it received where it increases that armor decrease or increase faster as you level it up. So when Dazzle starts getting that level 2, level 3 ultimate, he's actually really, really good in these push strats, because who wants to actually fight into a weaved up Lycan? You know, someone who's naturally tanky, but then has all this bonus armor, or God forbid, Dazzle's able to throw it on all of your team. That team fight's over. They just have to run away and give up a tower. So he's really, really good in that regards. You get that minus armor with the chase and the pure physical damage coming out from Lycan. You're just able to pretty much crush through some of those squishier heroes really, really quickly. So I already like the 2 pickups from Cloud9, but, you know, Team Empire running classic them, grabbing a Mad Bat Rider and just some heavy control.
Yeah, they don't need much more for now. And yeah, both teams have some good points. Right now we do go through our last stage of the ban. So the Invoker's going to get removed, and rightly so. I don't know if actually Resolution had to do that, but I think it's because he doesn't have first pick coming into the second stage that the Invoker had to be removed, or else he would have taken it himself.
Yeah.
Then the Chen being banned out, one of Aui's favorite heroes. So if they're thinking about going a lot more into the later portions of this game, having a Chen plus a Dazzle and a Lycan, that's a lot of life points, a lot of heal to try and get through, and a team without an Ancient Apparition potential means it's a good ban out. And the puck comes up from Cloud9. We've seen Puck's kind of almost been the dominant hero as far as any kind of control goes during team fights. Pucks have just been pulling out all the stops, especially S4's Puck. I know we got to have a lot of highlight games from him during our first semi-final. In this game, Sing Sing, if he can do the same kind of thing, then Team Empire definitely going to be caught flat in their feet. A Rubik, a Shadow Shaman, a Bat Rider, these guys all get silenced up and coiled up. It's only going to be a matter of time before they're dead.
Yeah, and there's also the possibility that this could be an offlane puck as well. So what I really love about the puck pickup from Cloud9 is because they run it both mid and offlane a lot, it gives so much extra versatility to your draft here. So looking at this, Cloud9 now with a little bit of extra minus armor, you already got the physical damage of Lycan. Pretty much everything is for the Lycan right now. Everything has really good synergy. Puck Lycan has been picked up a lot lately, and it's because you need a strong initiator for Lycan to be able to follow up. Dream Coil is like the perfect disable to be able to hold heroes in place long enough for Lycan to get in there and start putting in that physical damage. 2 different minus armors. I like Cloud9 setup a lot right now.
I'm flagging Cloud9 setup for early Roshan. Just to put it out there right now. You got Dazzle, VS, as well as Lycan together. Just those 3 heroes could do it. If we have something like a Nature's Prophet come in as the last one for Bone 7, then you might just say that's exactly what it's going to be. Or you could be right. It could be an off-lane puck, and then we'll get something completely different for the middle lane. The choice actually has to be made by Cloud9, because Team Empire, they get their 4th pickup right now. They can keep their mid-solo secret. So if I was them right now, I'd be looking at the hard carry role. Who do they think is going to work well up against the Lycan in the later portions of the game? Who they feel has the most amount of control coming into this game as well? I'm not quite sure exactly who they would want to go for, because everything that's coming to mind can easily get countered by a lot of the heroes on Cloud9. Like, you don't want to get these high maneuverability style heroes, ones that must get their ultis off. So yeah, we can actually get a high maneuverability hero, but also tanky ass as hell. Not their carry hero, though. This should be their solo laner.
Yeah, this should be their mid. So this is...
Their mid? You'd actually throw a Resolution on the Centaur?
I mean, I kind of want to place... just because I see if they're going to be running defensive tri-lanes, I would like to see them take control of their own jungle at the beginning and then do some stacks, and then allow Bat Rider, if he goes into the offlane, if he has a hard time, just go ahead and go into the jungle, start stacking and clearing through those pretty quickly. I really want to see a really farm Centaur here, because the question was, with the first 2 or 3 pickups, Cloud9 had strong push and strong team fight. So the question was whether or not you were going to get better team fight than them, or you were going to go for split push. And apparently Team Empire, they want to go for team fight. And there's no other real hero that personifies good team fight than a Centaur. I mean, with a good blink, that stomp, that double edge, you just do so much immediate damage that you can get yourself an early advantage of 4v5 pretty much by bursting down one hero. And then that ultimate is incredibly good in team fights for both positioning as well as chasing. So I kind of want to see a really farm Centaur here, and I'm not quite sure that offlane, considering the fact he doesn't have an escape mechanism. We've seen Centaur going offlane all the time, but I want to see him really farmed, and I don't think he's going to get that opportunity in the offlane, especially since he's dealing with the extra damage of a Lycan with the slow poison touch and then the minus armor and the stun of Vengeful Spirit. That's a pretty dangerous lane.
Radiant team.
But you could be right. It's probably more likely that we see a Bat Rider mid.
Yeah, that's... Originally, I was just like, man, Mag should never let a Bat Rider go. But with the Centaur pickup, with the way that the meta's been working of late, it would be the obvious choice to go. So we get somebody else. And Paladai is having the same kind of thought as I am. So the Luna is, in fact, going to be their ban out, because that is just then too much team fight for Cloud9 to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way they'll be battle up against the bouncing Glaives, the tanky Centaur in the middle, and then Bat Rider dragging people out with Firefly down. And then they're going to battle through the Mass Serpent wards, as well as like Fey Bolt Telekinesis. It's just too much. It's just too much. So Cloud9, yeah, Mag, thought the same thing I did. Take out the tree, taking out the Nature's Prophet. Oh my lord, find a hero name. Taking out the Nature's Prophet means those trees won't be there as well as the wolves, which means Cloud9, if they are thinking about Roshan, they're going to have to go something a little bit more, like, I won't say Alliance-ish, but they could go for the Lone Druid. But it's going to be so bloody obvious if they do it. It's already worth a check right now. And Cloud9 can actually use that to their advantage. We know these guys are slippery little suckers. And Team Empire, they have to check it. No matter what happens right now, they must check Roshan. But Bat Rider's going to be doing it with the Firefly. So it's going to be difficult for Cloud9 to actually catch Team Empire out of position, because he'll just have that flying vision in the early stages. But if Cloud9 can get a counter initiation out and nail somebody down and use Roshan as bait with an Alchemist, that'll do the job. It's still very much a level 1 Roshan right now, but I want to see if that Alchemist levels up Acid Spray or Concoction. Because if it's Concoction, it's a bait.
Yeah, this is going to be a really, really interesting level 1 team fight. No surprise, though, the Team Empire, they go ahead, they pick up another tanky team fight-oriented hero. Pick up the Lifestealer. He's strong. Luna would have been a good pickup, but I'm a little bit surprised to see the Cloud9 ban it out, just because Lycan is so good versus Luna. Being able to put that physical damage right onto her, just get up on her face and put it out, especially since you oftentimes are always, really, you get Necronomicon minions, those tank up the extra Luna bounces, but I suppose that she's just kind of, there's too much potential in a Luna going into the late game that it just gets a little too dangerous. So instead, we're going to see a Lifestealer carry picked up by Team Empire. Mag is going to be in that off lane with the Centaur, and we will have a middle Bat Rider. I'm interested to see if Cloud9 are going to do any stacking of the Ancients here, because this is going to be an off lane Puck. So Puck can go ahead and stack up Ancients if the lane gets a little too dangerous, meaning that you'll also be able to move that Alchemist to clearing the Ancient stack early on, and you could potentially put Bone 7 in the middle a little bit earlier than you normally would. Just basically have this lane swap where Alchemist is doing Ancients really early on. It's something that the Chinese have been kind of doing with their mid-Alchemist.
Well, right now, man, your mid-Alchemist will remain in mid, and he's going up against Bat Rider. I love this movement from Bone 7. He's orbed twice to get down here, to get that early wolf out. There's just a little banter going back and forth between the two supports, both Aoi as well as Vanscore. But this is a very early Observer Ward. This is going to at least watch the rune area. It's going to make it harder for the full camps to be stacked up. It also makes it impossible for a pull through. Obviously, Bone 7 is just trying to stay alive on this off lane. With that ward going down, like if he wanted to stop the farm, he would have blocked up this camp right here, but it would have been too deep to go in for himself. His only upside is the fact there's no aggressive Observer Ward in the lane.
Yeah, this is this also, I mean, if they do any sort of pulling early on and don't realize that the medium camp is not, there's no creeps there, then it'll be a single pull, in which case the lane pushes towards you. There are a lot of good opportunities here for Puck to be able to sap experience, but I still think his biggest advantage is going to be stacking Ancients. This lane is just a little too dangerous for him. Between the double disables of the Shadow Shaman as well as the Rubik, you got a lot of hold time there. If you throw your orb at the wrong time and you get caught out by both of those disables, you have no escape mechanism, and you're just going to get beaten down.
And this middle lane just got a lot better for Sing Sing. Not to mention the fact that Paladai just grabbed an Invis rune, so he's already looking to gank up on Resolution. And Concoction's brewing. So VS done to start with, which means they get almost a full channel duration off on the Concoction. Resolution, he went Napalm first. Now he's going to have the extra speed to get himself away here from Paladai. Actually, the clarity.
5 seconds.
5 seconds, 0 seconds. If he can get this stun off right now, Paladai's got the kill, because the Howl was there to give him the bonus damage. Which means First Blood actually gets to go solo to Paladai, but Sing Sing gets all the space in the middle.
Really smart chase there from Paladin, using that Invis rune perfectly. Sing Sing was going to really have a hard time with the Batrider spam, but now that he's already level 2 and soon going to be level 3 with constant bottle spam, he's just going to be able to throw down that acid spray and keep Batrider at a distance.
Yeah. It's a wonderful lane for him, man. Also, just to, I didn't flag this one before because I was just wondering if it was really worth flagging, but this is actually an older strat of Cloud9. This is actually one of the things they used to do when they had things like, Luna, because they'd run the aggro tri-lane, and then they'd use the Howl from Eternal Envy as just this safe lane hero to just buff him up. Bone 7, maybe not the best position for him. Shackles are still available right now and always on a fly. He'll do it, but he doesn't win. Bone 7's up the hill, but still Vanscore somehow was able to connect on both the hits. But Bone 7 was able to orb himself away to safety as well. So no kill for the two supports, that's expending a little bit of mana, but not too much to write home about.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. This lane is just too dangerous. So again, stacking, good idea. I think personally that would be your best option. I love the way that Empire here are getting the rune control, though. That is so important, especially since Sing Sing is going to be bringing in that fast bottle. They don't need to give up that extra bit of regen to him. If they can keep that bottle crowing going and make sure that there is no extra items going the way of the top lane, an early Midas, anything like that, get themselves an early advantage for this Batrider.
I hate to say though, man, they're not going to be able to control the 2-minute rune. They came down to the bottom lane to check out for that rune, but it's actually the illusion up on the top. So Sing Sing gets a full 3 bottle charges out to regenerate all of his mana back up again, and then illusion rune to boot. But yeah, you're right. They are trying to make a notable effort to shut down that alchemist.
Smoke. Cloud9 are going for another gank. They really want to keep resolution from that fast blink dagger.
Man, you get level 3 Paladin, why wouldn't you go for it? Now, he got stuns, Howler Terrors, or Wave of Terrors, as well as bonus DPS coming out. And when you add that double negative armor onto a hero like Resolution, this guy's only got 3 armor as it is. It's not going to be a safe place for him, because the acid spray as well is forcing the creep wave earlier into the town. Now, Sing Sing, does he start the brewing? In fact, he'll use the illusion rune to allow him to dive. So the VS stun will be there, and Resolution is toast. Cloud9, this is that teamwork that I was hoping for. And their draft really does allow for it. And for the guy out there who actually tweeted me out saying why so much hate towards the boys from Cloud9, it's not hate, it's just going off their previous records. They kind of look like a team without a cause. And they've found a cause here in the early stages of this game.
Yeah, I mean, they mainly it's just the MLG TKO. The fact that everybody should be giving them, they were supposed to be that top seed for that whole matchup, and they ended up getting knocked out and not even seeing the finals. You get concerned about
we got some trouble right now for Bone 7. Vanscore telekinesis him up on top of the cliff, and now Always Want to Fly just holds him there. He can't get himself away. He's 20 mana short of an orb, so he just has as much damage to Always Want to Fly. Phase shifts out as much, and then hopes he's just able to evade hits up the hill, but again, Vanscore just seems to have this true shot up the hill.
I love those. The fact that Vanscore just seems to never miss. I don't know. It fits him, man. He's such a good support player. They're gonna actually see if they can make a rotation into the middle lane here. I think with the haste rune that they pick up with the bottle. As soon as Batrider's level 6, they can go and gank the alchemist and shut him down a little bit, because they just are giving up way too much farm to him right now.
But that's the key word right there, man, when he's level 6. Because right now, Resolution still is having trouble finding that space in mid lane. Sing Sing sending his bottle back, realizing he didn't get the rune anyway. And the Lycan Wolves are coming in to try and help him out. Actually, where are these Wolves going? This Envy just sends them all the way from top lane to scout out the bottom. I don't know if they'll get there in time to block up camps, depending on their positions. One Wolf comes in. It'll spot Always Want to Fly. So it's seeing what they're doing. That's all this really is. It's just scouting Wolves. But I should also point out too that this Life Stealer is going to get light years ahead of Eternal Envy. And even though their CS is quite close, it's the fact that Silent had this handed Midas up by 4 minutes. It just means that Silent is just ripping through the money. I'm interested to see his item progression as well. Like, how soon does he want to fight?
He needs to go for the immediate the immediate team fight build. I think he has to go like that whole phase boot drums into S and Y. You got to go the race car build.
You go S and Y. You wouldn't try the armlet out in this game.
Maybe you can go the armlet if you can get enough farm, but especially since you have the jump initiation of a Bat Rider, maybe the extra physical damage, since you don't have to worry so much about the mobility, since you have a Centaur as well as the Bat Rider giving you that mobility between Infest and Centaur's ultimate. So maybe you can go the straight physical damage, but either way, he has to have a build here that is ready to fight immediately, because their whole lineup is meant for the 15 to 25 minute mark between the Centaur, the Bat Rider mid, and the Lifestealer. Like, he's a carry that comes online really, really early. They need to be fighting Cloud9 before they're set up with the Necrobook 3s for pushes.
Yep. If we're just watching a little play coming out here from C9, they realize the Bat Rider abandoned the middle lane to go basically stack and farm. So they try and smoke up and come in through the rear. Now, SingSing had to leave an acid spray behind just to keep this creep wave in middle lane under control. It obviously doesn't break his smoke, and there's no observable to see that was happening. So they walk directly under it. Now the smoke will break. Always going to fly the first one down. The Haliterra will give some extra vision, but SingSing, he's a long way away from getting this concoction off. In fact, he's going to set himself up while Pylite dies. That telekinesis throwback really hurts him, but the Shallow Grave will keep him alive for now. Got this on over on Vanscore as Mag actually body blocks up his teammate. Vengeful Spirit will still go down with the Infest jump out and a very hopeful TP out by Aoi 2000. And Empire dragged all 5 players down to that bottom lane to be part of that. While C9 still left their Lycan up on the top lane.
Great response. And Resolution, they have a stack ready for him, so he just farms it up with his Firefly, meaning he's going to get a Blink Dagger soon. Then you can start seeing some of those Infest ganks. Not quite yet, because we don't even have the Centaur being level 6, but it's something to think about as time goes on. And with really, it's entirely up to SingSing. And his rotations with the 2 supports, that's going to be their only real early game. Lycan's just going to stay AFK farming for the time being. You can see he's already taken a tower.
Yeah.
And Puck still has a long way to go before Bone 7 is viable.
Actually, just to point out that Lycan, man, he's got 1,200 gold right now. And Alchemist was the guy who's rushing up into the medallion. And I know I was calling out level 1 Roshan from C9 before, but they're going to do it. They're going to do it just after this gank up on top lane, and they've got him. Mag Overseed is welcome here, so Poison, Wave of Terror, and then they've also got that Howl bonus damage. And none of the supports really have enough by themselves, and with support coming in, Vanscore again, telekinesis pickup, dragging back Aoi. They go into the lasso, so there's no Shallow Grave for this fight. Oh, he got it off at the end of the day. Aoi will back himself up while Eternal Envy picks off Resolutions. A double kill for him. Pie smoking up. He's got 19 light points, but the high movement speed will let him get away from here. But Mag, Creep Wave, those catapults can actually, if Envy decides to turn and fight this one, Aoi comes in with a poison. I'm not quite sure about the overcommitment right there. He was never going to reach him in time. I think that was meant to be a kill with his sacrifice of his life with the double edge, but
yeah.
Either way, that's now a lot of calls from Team Empire being thrown the way of C9.
He thought with his Tranquil Boots he would be able to have the movement speed to be able to catch up, but I don't know, man. That was Cloud9. They just took 2 different towers off of that, the tier 1 top, the tier 1 middle. A lot more control going their way. That was a good recovery after what happened at that bottom lane with Empire making that 5-man rotation. Bone 7, though, he's got actually a lot of gold. Did you notice that he has 1,300 gold right now? Not what I expected, considering the fact he's only level 4 9 minutes in.
He hasn't spent any of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the crazy thing for him. I don't know if this is meant to be like the... I don't want to say a glass cannon because Puck is exactly not that. He's just glass. But he could have that jump in. Like, if he gets a very early Blink Dagger, that control, it could do wonders for him. Like, just getting a good Dream Call off makes SingSing and Envy's job a hell of a lot easier. Even the Dazzle, it makes his job even easier. And here goes Roshan. So, Aegis model, we knew this was coming at some point, and we're going to get Roshan down before the 10-minute mark hits.
Look at the massive amount of armor that SingSing has built up. Like, he picked up a medallion. That's not a surprise because of how good it is with your stun, but the follow-up chainmail is kind of interesting. I wonder if he's going for, like, the team fight mech.
Yeah, it's mech in this lineup, man. It's got to be, because Dazzle doesn't want to really be doing this. Like, this is Aoi 2000. This is a guy who will, like, get Arcane Boots. He's already got the drums up in the very early stages. And why not put it over on an Alchemist so he can just stand the fight and be the one they cannot kill?
Yeah, and they know that Team Empire's team fight capabilities beats out their own, and they've also got a decent amount of push with the Shadow Shaman, so they can't afford to just ignore Cloud9 or ignore what Team Empire when they go for these pushes, because they're going to take some early towers, and they're just going to keep going. They're just going to go from tier 1 to tier 2 until eventually Cloud9 are forced to fight. And so they need as much early team fight as humanly possible, so that mech is going to do wonders for them. And I love how much extra farm they're pulling out of the map. Earlier, Empire did the smart thing. They threw down a counter ward to block the Ancient stacking, but Bone 7 did stack it up at least once, meaning Cloud9, not only did they pick up a good amount of farm from the jungle, they just grabbed 2 tier 1s, Roshan, as well as Ancients. That's an incredible amount of gold going the way of Cloud9 in a very short period. You could see the dip down in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's getting out of control right now for Team Empire, because this momentum, it won't stop. Once Puck has that Blink Dagger, like the moments they had before, like it had always on a fly as well as Vanscore, just the 2 supports go on bottom lane. Now, these 2 guys probably feel they're invincible with their level of control, but they're actually not once that Blink Dagger comes up. Because then their Silence and their Dream Call, then Paladai can follow through, and then you don't know where these Wolves are going to be. And these Wolves from Eternal Envy, I've been watching them for the past minute or so, and they're working overtime. Sing-Sing's going to, actually, sorry, Dazzle's going to die here in the middle lane. Bad Rider Lasso as well as Mag teaming up for that, while on bottom lane, well, always on a fly. Throws down the wards, but the orb damage is a hell of a lot. Now, Envy's going to back up, the Acid Spray goes in, and Envy, he'll just pop off the Lycan Wolf form. Pylite will still get munched down, but Silent, so low on life when the Medallion kicks in, and Puck Dream Calls in the wrong position. Sing Sing will save himself in the tree line, but the Wolves as well as Envy, the main Master Wolf, running up from his Silent. Jukes right over the side, and then Envy micros up perfectly. He didn't really get the hit off straight away, but still, nevertheless, the live stealer goes down. So Lycan finally gets himself ahead kill-wise over the top of the live stealer. Because it was both 2 for 0 until that point.
Yeah, they forced out wards as well, meaning they're going to get even more farm. So a 2-for-1 exchange plus wards plus pushing into the tower. Another great exchange for Cloud9. They're really finding these opportunities. I love the fact that they really turned this laning phase, which started out a little shaky for them, but they really turned it around with all the extra farm that they're pulling out of the map. They do have to get concerned, though, because I feel Empire, it's about to be there. It's 12 minutes, so in a couple minutes' time, I think the Empire are going to be online. They already have the ultimate from Centaur. We're going to have a Blink Dagger up soon for Bat Rider, and we are going to see, it looks like, a armlet coming out of Silence. Once he has that, he should be looking for team fights. That's
always on a fly. First stun, second stun. Wolf form is up. Then they can just use this to tank up the creep wave. Just get rid of that creep wave, and then they'll take out the tier 1 tower. Actually, they pulled a bit of the creep wave up. They aggroed the Harpies in, but Sing Sing is going to try and, well, no, he pulls them back down again with the Acid Spray. But the tier 1 tower belongs to them, plus the kill over on the Shadow Shaman. This lineup of C9, see, I'm not believing the same thing where Empire's going to hit the sweet spot. As I'm still missing the Blink Dagger on Mag. Resolution had his Blink Dagger, but what? It got a kill over and a Dazzle as a solo mid. It's the first reveal you have of it. While C9, they're walking around with their own Blink Dagger on the puck, and he's already pinging out to say, can we come and gank up Vanscore? Now, if they're fast enough, yep, Sing Sing's on his way in. I don't think he realizes the support that's behind it, though, with Resolution as well as Mag.
Yeah, they were really looking for that pickoff on middle. That way they can turn this into maybe a tower, but Cloud9.
They got Bone 7. They're picking him up, and then Phase Shift is still available, but he'll die before the point.
From behind.
Centaur was able to get a jump in, and now, well, yeah, Sing Sing. Concoction, is he going to prep it yet? There it goes, but he's got to keep that vision on Mag, push him into a corner, and then the neutrals are going to come down. They don't actually block up Mag like I thought they were going to. The poison will have to hit. Lycan's picked up Vanscore in the meantime, while Dazzle will finish the job over on the Centaur. And Sing Sing will take the double stack of farm.
Yeah, Cloud9 were making that rotation with the Vengeful Spirit and the Lycan coming in from behind. Vanscore had a really good clutch.
Bone 7! Dream Call was available. He jumps always on a fly. I don't think he really meant to orb himself out like that. I think he was trying to evade the shock, and then lets Eternal Envy come up. Chicken turn wolf. And that'll now be, again, like the top tower won't go down from this. With the wolves, okay, Envy is trying to decide, is it Mass Serpent Wards or is it Catapult decision? And he ends up just taking both. And bottom lane's trying to be forced out by Silent. But Sing Sing's coming in to gank up with him too, so Silent will be forced out this bottom lane.
is under attack.
And all in the duration of the first Aegis of the Immortal.
Man, I think this is getting a little bit too late for Empire. Look at Eternal Envy's farm right now. He's got 4,000 gold. I was saying earlier, get offensive before the Necrobook 3 is up. That's going to be up here real soon. They don't even realize it because Eternal Envy's he's just holding on to so much gold. He's going to reveal it in one big go. And all of a sudden, we have that Necrobook 3. It's a really powerful ability. I was going to ask you real quick, what do you think about Highlight Eye's build here?
I'm not quite sure about the second buckler.
Yeah, he's got the second buckler, so, I mean, technically that does work. You've seen it before in some push strats.
So when you push in first, you pop off the buckler, and then when things get rough, then you pop off the mech.
Yeah.
Because you want to have the extra armor going in without actually having to use the full heal and mech duration cooldown time. Yeah.
And the other thing about his build is he's like, not only does the buckler tell you push, but also his skill build as well tells you total push. Minus armor, like getting that extra level of Wave of Terror, I feel is more effective early on for killing because no one builds into armor, but...
Silent. They swap him in to the straight up Silent, so the concoction was able to hit. Do you actually see the movement of that was the perfect thing?
Yeah, that was the most beautiful combo between Pilot Eye swap and the Silence coming out from Bone 7. That was extraordinary to watch.
I also love the way they did it with the concoction. Like the swap came in, the concoction, obviously the concoction will follow you wherever you go. And because of that, the swap made it so there was no reaction time. So if the Silence didn't work from Bone 7, it was going to be the concoction connecting.
And now Bone 7 has an Invis rune. This may be another pickoff and another bad pickoff like that, and they're going to start losing tier 2s. And while they do have good team fight, they've already given up so much gold that I'm actually concerned that they can't fight Cloud9 anymore, in which case, what sort of progression do they really have? They only really have early to mid game. They don't have any real late game to talk about.
They don't, man, at all. Like, man, good luck being late game when all you got is Blink Dagger and Tranquil Boots. this guy can't even stand up in the mid game at all, let alone transition into a later portion of the game. Now, there is being a lot of vision coming out. Bone 7, silence over on Maggie. He got the Centaur ulti off and Resolution. He also got the last super, but he got cancelled pretty quickly too. But still 2 heroes down for Cloud9. As Eternal Envy can't decide exactly who to kill up. A little bit further up, Resolution's going on Bone 7. And it's actually a really good fight now for Team Empire. They've only lost 1 for the price of 3. Now, Sing Sing, he's still got Concoction available. He's trying to fight up. He doesn't want to stun up on top of Silent if he's got no other choice, and then stunned up himself. Fanscore steals the Concoction before the death, and Cloud9 just threw every bit of advantage they had back the way of Team Empire.
God, that was such a clutch play there from Resolution, where he sticky napalmed Sing Sing up as he was concoctioning, and then blinked behind him, so he had that slow turn rate. And by the time he actually turned around to throw the stun, Resolution was out of range, and then the rage was popped by Silent. That was his only target at that point, so it pretty much made Resolution. He just forced him to hold up because he couldn't just keep walking with the concoction going. That was such a smart play by him. However, Cloud9, they just got their Necrobook 3. As that might have been a good fight for them, but that was still Cloud9 trying to take a fight, I think, before they're really ready.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you on that one too, man. Like, the level 3 books only just arrived. They still don't have a lot of tankability over on this part because he went the raw Blink Dagger, so there was no way for really Bone 7 to remain alive during that fight. Dazzle was trying to help, and he's actually got some really good items over on this Dazzle, but without the space, he can't do much. And even VS, like, gone for the early Buckler, but there's no great follow-up after that point. And the Alchemist, well, he can tank up everything he wants to that point, but this is exactly what they had to do. Force out the tower, don't try and force out the fight. The Puck saw it coming too, like his Invis, and he was watching Empire rotate top. But Xeno decided to stick out there, like the neck was just a little bit too far out. But now they come in and they mop up exactly what they were trying to do beforehand. So take both tier 2 on middle and top.
You know, I thought that was a little bit risky because I was going to say their time Necrobook 3 and then take Roshan. They have the dire side advantage. They have such a good Roshan team. But they knew, because like you were talking about, Bone 7, they saw the movement of Empire. They knew they would have the opportunity to take both tier 2s real quickly before Empire can respond. Now going back to Team Empire, it's not that early I was talking about how they don't have any late game. They do have some late game. The Bat Rider, the Shadow Shaman is good control. Lifestealer can build into late game items. However, the biggest problem is going to be that Cloud9's really reign of terror was supposed to be like 25 to 35, maybe even 45 minutes in. Team Empire, if they stretch this out super late game, do have a chance, but it's unlikely. It's just the fact that Cloud9 has such a good lineup to be able to end this in the mid-game that it's unlikely that Empire will be able to go late. And even if they do go late, it's still questionable whether they can actually win this. And I'm talking super late game where you have an AC and an Abyssal up on this Lifestealer. It's really, really unlikely that they could make that work. So Empire, their whole entire lineup was built for the early to mid game. They gave up too much farm to Cloud9 early. They didn't push their advantage enough, and now they're on the ropes. They have to go like for smoke ganks. They have to go for pickoffs. Their biggest hope is going to be catching out Cloud9 during Roshan.
Well, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Oh,
Resolution
no.
jumps in, but the stun was perfect. Stan's in the middle of this fight as well, and he won't make it out. You saw the Centaur already trying to use for the movement speed away, but they've just lost 2 on the initiation. They're about to lose that third core. Bone 7 somehow manages to live through all of this with 17 life points, but Mag will not be as lucky. Eternal Envy comes through and takes out the third hero. They'll go in and they'll pick up Roshan. And this will be, if we go with the basic Cloud9 movement, it'll be the tier 2 tower, the bottom lane, a little bit more farm until they hit like the AC on Lycan, which isn't too far away. And then actually just go straight Desolator.
Wow.
Maybe we're not looking to have any kind of wait. If that Desolator flies out right now, they just push high ground. They don't wait for anything.
Yeah, traditionally you go Necrobook 3 into BKB because at that point in time you're kind of unstoppable to just like right-click things and there's nothing that can really stop you. Here though, Eternal Envy realizes that with the straight damage of a Desolator mixed in with a minus armor to be put on towers, they can end this game before 25-minute mark.
Turn around, Korea.
They can go ahead, take the tier 2, and then push uphill. And with the Aegis plus the huge gold lead that they have, chances that Empire are able to actually defend their base and without losing, you know, tier 3 plus Arax.
There's more key items coming in to make Cloud9's job easier. Yeah. Like that Yule Scepter, like Bone 7, he doesn't care about life points. He's just going for the high levels of control, and they're going to find a resolution out right now. That Wave of Terror, because very long range on that Wave of Terror. But you like got Ghost Scepter on Paladar, you got Sing Sing with the Heaven's Halberd, Bone 7 with his Blink Dagger Yule Scepter, Envy with Desolator Vladimir's level 3 Necro Books, and his level 3 Shapeshift too. Like we're 22 minutes into the game, he's about to actually crack level 17 as this hero. And then you just got all the extra armor coming out and help, which they've got from like Sing Sing. The mech will be there for him. You got swap saviors if they need it. Pilot Eye probably should be popping off this buckler right now as they go in. I think he forgot he had the item.
Don't forget about the offensive weave.
Of course. Of course.
It's another factor. It's level 2 now. So Aoi, if he gets a good offensive weave,
Resolution
Empire going to melt.
Resolution's considering jumping in right now. He's got an infested Lifestealer inside. Telekinesis pick up, and then with the Centaur ulti, but they already swapped him back in again. And Centaur will come up for a nice stomp, but the Shadow Grade's going to make sure Lycan remains alive for a very long time. And he won't trigger off his ulti in this one, but the damage output is still ridiculous from Eternal Envy. Batrider had to buy back. Flamebreak picks up Bone 7 on the way out. But Pilot Die is about to get the sun up. Eternal Envy's on such low life, and they'll just shapeshift and run away. There's also a regeneration rune on bottom lane, which is probably the main reason why he's doing this. He can Vladimir lifesteal up most of what he wants from the jungle. But yeah, regeneration rune makes life very, very simple for him.
Yeah, and there's no point in throwing away the Aegis if you can just back up, push in once again. The biggest problem for them is going to be, surprisingly, the low death timers for Team Empire. They're just able to kind of throw their lives at them. If they have just enough to be able to back Cloud9 away, they'll be up for the next push just because their death timers are so low right now. So it looks like Cloud9, they're going to take a small opportunity to farm up, though there isn't really much left when it comes to progression going into the mid-game. They have all their mid-game items that they really need. Everything else is going to be luxury late game.
Yep.
Whether it's going to be like a BKB going in for the Lycan, Alchemist can start building into some damage if he wants to. Maybe he grabs the Assault Cuirass next. Would be the item choice in my mind. Go for the BKB on Lycan.
Yeah, you're right. They're probably an easier choice too, considering like Lycan needs the immunity, but it's Sing Sing who just can rack up the armor, because he can farm at a faster rate than anybody else. So you want that money? Well, unless Bone 7 does something like that. He's got 4 points up in Grieval's Greed, which is begging to be used. So if he's able to farm with that, then you have yourself your Assault Cuirass.
You said it in the draft. You said you wanted to see that like good coordination from Cloud9. This combo that they've been running is so good. I mean, just watching them with the swap, the concoction stun or the swap silence, so many times they've been able to pull that off just brilliantly.
In they come.
They have nothing to stop them now.
Yeah, with the weave buff up already, look at that high armor, like the jump out happens, and at least they get the kill off on Dazzle. The Massive War's down too, but Sing Sing, a double concoction on both Resolution as well as Magpie die, not looking too healthy. One last howl, but it's just Envy. The Wolves in the middle of the Rats, and he's able to bring him down. Sing Sing hides behind the tower, but it's an ultra kill. The buyback came out from Rubik, but the bottom racks will drop right now, and he could even just remain here. The ulti form is going to wear off.
Yeah, he still has the Aegis.
Yep. Sing Sing's hoping for a stun, but he won't find anybody, just himself.
That was the best possible fight that Team Empire could have. I mean, that was just such a smart idea, trying to jump on Cloud9 before they get set up onto a tower, since it was so low health anyway. They had a really good initiation from Centaur, and it still wasn't enough. It wasn't even close. Eternal Envy didn't even blow through his Aegis during that fight.
Yeah. I think he was thinking he'd die a lot faster, that's why he didn't pop the shapeshift straight away, but
yeah.
At the end of the day, you also knew it too. It's like, well, if I'm not going to die, I may as well just pop my ulti and start killing off people, because that's exactly what happened. But the jump in, you're right, it was a good decision by Team Empire to go out and fight. They didn't really have many other options, because like C9 already were basically at the height of their weave. They tried to wait to the very last moment of the weave too to jump in there, and they took out the Dazzle. So there was no Shallow Graves had to worry about. There was no quick heals on everybody, because there was a big group up. Like, if that heal went as well, Empire could have just died straight to the magical damage coming out from Puck as well as the Dazzle. But yeah, at the end of the day, they left it over, because that was actually a crazier thing for C9. Like, the jump in was great. The burst damage had a lot of good elements too, between Magic Missile, the Shadow Wave, the concoction, something with the Acid Spray. But then you knew you could transition to the second part of the team fight, which was tank ability from Lycan, tank ability from Alchemist, and then all the negative armor and the armor they had rolling in on top of that. So they actually had like stage 1 of their team fight, stage 2 of their team fight, and if stage 1 went even slightly well, you knew stage 2 would just mow through them, which was exactly what happened in that last fight in the bottom.
Yeah, perfect, well-crafted lineup from Cloud9, and I think it surprised both of us how strong they came out of the gate in this series. So if they can continue this, man, maybe we'll see an exact opposite of what we predicted. Maybe Cloud9 will actually just completely triumph over Empire with a 3-0.
Well, if they keep it up, man, they could do it. Of course, I still saw good coordination coming out from Empire. This kind of got shut down the earlier stages, never really found that transition. With the transition, we could have ourselves a really decent game coming up in game number 2. We'll find out if that's going to be the case, so stay tuned, and we'll be back here in just a couple of moments' time.